Namaste students. Today we are going to discuss the third and the fourth paragraph of the poem A Tiger in the Zoo. Now let us see the third paragraph. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge, baring his white fangs, his claws, terrorizing the village. Now, snarling means warning sounds made by animals. The growl of a tiger. Baring means uncovered. Fangs means sharp tooth of animals. In the third paragraph, the poet says that if the tiger would have been free, he would have snarled around the houses located at the outskirts of the forest. He would terrorize people with his sharp tooth and claws. This would create fear among the people living in the villages. Now let us see the literary devices. The rhyme scheme of third paragraph is ABCD, edge, village. Again we see the line continues to the next line without punctuation marks. He should be snarling around houses at the jungle's edge. So this is called enjambment. Again we see here the word snarling. This is a word denoting sound. So here another literary device we find is that onomatopoeia. Again we see use of vowel sound O and I, the dominating sound of O and I. So in the words like should, around, houses, here the O sound is very prominent, and that is known as assonance. Again I sound, bearing, his, white, his. Again this one is also assonance, the vowel sound. It is very prominent. That's why the literary device we find here is assonance. Next we see use of the consonant sound S. Now which one is the consonant? The prominent S sound is his, fangs, his, claws. Now here also the S sound, the consonant sound is very prominent, and that's why this is another literary device is consonants. Now let's move on to the fourth paragraph. But he is locked in a concrete cell, his strength behind bars, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors. Concrete means building made of brick, cement, sand and water. Through these lines, the poet comes to the reality of the tiger that is inside the cage. He says that the tiger is confined in a strong cell which is made of strong building material. He further says that as the tiger is behind bars, so his ferociousness is also behind the bars. Even though he is angry, he cannot express his anger. He cannot vent out, and that's why he is even more angry, and his anger is suppressed. He just stalks in the cage. He never tries to terrorize the visitors because his power is restricted by the cage. Therefore, he never tries to terrorize as he cannot attack them. And that's why he is even more angry, and his anger is suppressed. He cannot express his anger because he is in a confinement. He is in a confinement. He cannot do anything. He is helpless. Now let us see the literary device. The literary device in the fourth paragraph, firstly the rhyme scheme is ABCD, bars, visitors. Again here we see the tiger is personified because the poet refers him as he. That's why it is personification. Another literary device that we find is that the assonance. Where do we find the assonance? Use here we see the use of the vowel sound E in he, locked, concrete, cell, the prominent sound of E, the vowel sound E, that is assonance. Another one we see is that consonants. Use of the consonant sound S. Now where do we find this? In words such as his, strength, bars, the S sound is very, very prominent, and that is known as consonants. Next, we see use of the B sound at the beginning of a word. B sound is very, very prominent at the start of two words, that is behind bars. Now we have already discussed in our previous lesson about alliteration, that use of the sound at the start of two words. Okay, now here the use of B sound. Earlier it was the use of P sound. Okay, plum, pass. In the second paragraph, here it is the use of B sound. Okay, now that is known as alliteration, behind bars. So that's all for today. The next paragraph we'll discuss in our next class. Thank you.